Did you know it's very common in job interviews in 2024 to get questions about implementing and adopting new technologies? It's common because it's happening all the time, especially as the pace of technology increases. Welcome to video number 16 in my 20-part Q&A feedback AI series. For the purpose of all these videos, we're going to follow the same sort of agenda. We're going to cover a question. We're going to cover a specific role at a specific company. I'm going to provide a little bit of an overview of my overall approach. Then I'm going to answer the question with a really good answer. And then on the back end, I'm going to run it through my AI tool and see how we can make a good answer fantastic. Like all of these other videos, basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to narrow down to a specific role at a specific company, but I really want you to look for the foundational items. That's the most important part of these videos. Lastly, with hypothetical questions, the challenge is I'm speaking into a camera and we don't have an interactive audience, and just that can make the answers feel really long, but the goal in a job interview would be that it would be pretty interactive. All right, let's dive in. So our hypothetical question today is, imagine a scenario where you have to introduce a new technology or tool that the team is resistant to. How would you manage this change? So we're taking on the role of an engineering manager at Adobe, and this is specifically a 3D graphics engineering manager role. For the purpose of all these videos, I am not going to read through all the details of the job description. I don't think that would be the best use of our time, but I do include them here just so you can refer back to them and pause the video at any time if you'd like to see what a job like this requires, what the requirements are, and what the overall job description is. And this is a pretty good, pretty healthy job description. Then we dive into the CFAS method. This is my approach for all hypothetical answers. We want to come in and we want to clarify. There's lots of items that are unclear here. Then we're going to establish our framework. It's basically the outline for how we want to set up our solution. We're going to make some role-specific assumptions, and then we're going to solve. And hopefully we can break our solutions into multiple solutions to really dive deep into some specific categories of the framework. Again, for the purpose of this video, I'll allow you to pause and read through this process. But for now, let's dive into our long answer on these hypothetical questions. So just for flow, the question is, imagine a scenario where you have to introduce a new technology or tool that the team is resistant to. How would you manage this change? Okay, before diving in, I'd like to ask a few clarifying questions. Is the resistance to the new technology primarily due to the lack of understanding of its benefits or due to comfort with existing tools? Do we have a timeline for when the team needs to fully adopt this new technology? And are there any specific concerns from the team about the integration of this new technology with our existing workflow and tools? Given the dynamic nature of implementing a new technology within a team that has shown resistance, we need to structure our approach carefully. To address this effectively, let's consider the following essential topic areas. We want to be thinking through change management, obviously training and education, how we're communicating throughout. We want to think about getting that great feedback loop. Then we want to do some pilot testing, some integration planning. We're obviously going to monitor the performance, and then we want to incentivize, create a good support system, and look at the overall success metrics. Before solving, let's make a few role-specific assumptions. I'm going to assume that the key people are internal stakeholders, and they include the product owner, UX designers, and the engineering team. I want to imagine that the clients are creative professionals using Adobe's suite of products. From a data perspective, let's look at the utilization of internal analytics to measure the adoption and performance. And then from the technical side, let's imagine it's an integration of a new tool that will involve common GUI concepts and modern 3D graphic APIs like OpenGL and Vulkan. A good starting point would be discussing change management and training and education. But is there another area you'd like to focus on or start with? Okay, when introducing a new technology or tool to a team that is initially resistant, it's paramount to start with a strong foundation in change management and training education. Given the complexities of integrating a new 3D graphic software within Adobe's ecosystem, the first step involves clearly articulating the why behind the change. This means presenting the benefits not just on an organizational level, but also how it enhances each team member's work, fostering a connection to the broader vision of democratizing 3D content creation. Now, change management begins with engaging in an open dialogue with the team, addressing concerns and setting clear expectations. By leveraging the agile development process, we can introduce the new technology in phases, allowing the team to gradually adapt without overwhelming them. This phased approach also enables the collection of feedback in real time, making adjustments as needed to ease the transition for the team. Now, from a training and education, they're equally critical. So given the assumption that our team is proficient in C++ and familiar with 3D graphics APIs, training sessions can be tailored to bridge the gap between their current expertise and the new tools requirements. Partnering with the technology provider to create customized training materials or workshops specifically designed for our team's needs will ensure a more effective learning curve. Additionally, allocating time during sprints for hands-on sessions with the new technology can further solidify understanding and encourage experimentation. So we could focus more on change management and training and education, they're big topic areas, or we could focus on communication and the feedback loop. Do you have a preference for what comes next? Okay, diving deeper into our framework, communication and feedback loop emerge as pivotal elements in managing this technological transition. So effective communication is the backbone of any change management strategy, especially when introducing a new tool that significantly impacts the team's workflow. This involves not just initial announcements on training sessions, but an ongoing dialogue that keeps the team informed about progress, expectations, and how their feedback is going to be incorporated into the transition process. For communication to be effective, it must be multi-directional, starting with a comprehensive introduction of the new technology, including its benefits and how it aligns with Adobe's mission to connect flagship creative tools, ensuring that the team understands the broader context. Regular updates through team meetings or digital communication platforms provide transparency and keep everyone on the same page. Now, the feedback loop is an extension of this communication strategy, creating a structured process for the team to share their experiences, challenges, and suggestions with the new technology. This can be facilitated through regular check-ins, surveys, or a dedicated channel for feedback on the team's collaboration platform, for example, Slack. Importantly, it's not just about collecting feedback, but it's about acting on it, demonstrating to the team that their input is valued and has a tangible impact on the project's direction. So at this point, I think it makes sense to focus on talking about success metrics or outcomes, unless there's anything else you'd like to discuss. Okay, focusing now on the success metrics and outcomes, it's essential to establish clear, measurable goals to evaluate the effectiveness of the new technology's integration. This involves defining specific, quantifiable metrics that align with both the technical objectives and the broader mission of enhancing collaborative 3D graphics software for creative professionals. Metrics could include adoption rate within the team, improvement in project turnaround times, reduction in resource consumption, and feedback scores regarding the tool's usability and impact on the team's overall workflow. Now, monitoring these metrics provides insight into how well the new technology is being assimilated and where further adjustments might be necessary. For example, if adoption rates are lower than expected, it could indicate a need for additional training or modifications to the tool itself. Similarly, positive feedback on usability can validate the training and education approach taken, while suggestions for improvement can guide future development phases. Okay, I think we've hit a good stopping point, but I'm happy to discuss any of these concepts I mentioned earlier that we have not discussed in greater detail, including integration planning, performance monitoring, incentivization, and support systems. Whew. Okay, always a deep breath after these very long hypothetical answers. Again, we're extending to 5, 6, 7 minutes in these answers. But the goal would be, as you could see, I was doing a lot of prompting, a lot of transitioning, a lot of asking questions to create a back and forth in these answers. So pretty good answer overall. Let's see what the AI tool had to say and the feedback it gave. So clarifying questions, you could possibly add a few more. For example, are training resources available for this new technology? Okay, we didn't consider the resourcing piece. And do you know why the team is resistant? Is it because of a past negative experience with a similar situation? Historical data is also a great clarifying question that I missed. Okay, assumptions. Well, you made some assumptions related to the technologies and key people. These could be enhanced and made more specific to the problem at hand. Here are some suggestions. Assume the new technology has proven benefits over the older technology, improved efficiency, fewer bugs, faster development. Okay, there's got to be a reason why we're doing this, right? Assume that the team's resistance towards the new tool is due to a lack of familiarity or fear of steep learning curve rather than any shortcomings of the tool itself. Okay, that's interesting. Assume the team has a basic proficiency in most software tools and can be trained on new technology. And yeah, I think we would always kind of go in with that assumption, but never bad to call it out. Remember, assumptions are meant to establish common ground on truths we cannot prove during the interview, but are critical for proceeding with the problem solution. The more tailored your assumptions to the situation, the more informative and useful your solution will be. Absolutely. The more specific, the more visuals we create in the assumptions, the better. Okay, solution number one. While broad solutions are useful, the interviewers would also appreciate more specific, actionable steps you could take in this scenario. For example, how would you structure the change management process? How can you ensure that the training sessions are effective and inclusive for everyone's learning needs? Okay, inclusivity, especially on the training, that's a really good concept and something we should be talking about. And again, with broad solutions, more specific assumptions will yield more specific solutions. Okay, solution number two. Try to further tie this solution to the responsibilities in your job description, like conflict resolution skills or leadership skills. Very true. This is an eng manager role, and so I don't know that we gave a good broad overview of how we would tackle it, but did we really tackle all these solutions from an engineering manager perspective? Probably could have dove a little bit deeper there. Solution three, metrics could be more specific. For instance, you can talk about reducing the processing time by a specific percentage, achieving a certain score on employee satisfaction survey, etc. Numbers are the universal language. So anytime we bring in numbers into our solutions, hypothetical or behavioral, numbers can be really helpful. They can paint a really clear picture for your audience. And at the end, I always have my trusty overview slide here. So in the clarifying piece, 3 to 5 clarifying questions. So yeah, we only asked a few, so it gave us the opportunity to ask more. Seemed to like our framework, our assumptions, speak from the perspective of the role. We talked about some of these people, processes, and technologies, but it wanted more specificity. And then it just wanted us to tie it back on the how and be specific. It called for us to be a little bit more specific in this answer. So now that we're here, I want to let you know that this is part of our 20 video interview series in the lead up to the launch of my paid practiceinterviews.com AI tool that will be out on February 26th. Sign up at practiceinterviews.com to be an early adopter. Early adopters are guaranteed a discount, and we're still probably going to let a few more people on the platform before we go live. Thanks so much for watching.